everybody. I'm just making sure I have the camera like in a good spot. Maybe bring it a little closer. We gotta wait for Peggy's face.
You don't gotta wait for me. I can be over here.
I have coffee.
You didn't push the couch in properly.
Oh, now she's gotta fix the couch. Oops.
Oh wait, I don't know where the dogs learn to whine.
I don't know either. Hello, everybody. I'm just
Hi,
making
guys.
sure the chat is like ready for our eyeballs to see. There we go.
Ooh.
There we go. That's probably good.
Hi everybody. Hi everybody that I might have missed.
Hello, hello. Oh, make sure it's actually down at the bottom. There we go. Sherry Bug, Doug, Nikki, Barb, Jen, Heather.
Ooh, Mama's bringing Nikki
Alexa.
some soup.
Who's bringing Nikki soup? Hi, Keith.
Nikki's Mama's bringing
Blackbird Pond. Oh. I see, I see. Oh, it's moving faster over there. Oh, maybe not. Whatever.
You're on Top Chat.
Oh, dang it. You're better at spotting that these days than I am.
Because I'm just better than you are.
That's mean.
Yeah, it's mean.
Is this how we're going to start out?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Welcome to my
Hello,
world.
hello, hello.
Hi, guys.
Lots of juicy stuff in that one. Hey, we were talking about trust as a spectrum, controlling outcomes, all the good stuff. Hi, Nikki.
Oh yeah, that one's just a little tiny bit behind that one.
Hi,
guys.
Newbie. Yeah, there's
So-
a little bit of a delay. I can turn this one off so it's less distracting, actually. Can I? No, I can't. I forgot I can't turn it off on live. I can only turn it off on playback.
So I ended up missing the first part.
Peggy didn't pay attention. She has no idea.
I
what
was
we
doing
talked about.
things. I was making magic happen.
Do you guys want to see some magic while we're getting settled? I'm going to show you guys some magic. So, can I show off the thing, the new thing?
Yeah, you can show off whatever
All
you
the
want.
things? Can I show off your Mario?
My Mario. You can show off whatever you want. What do you want?
Peggy made this one.
Oh, but that's for,
Do you want
that's,
to talk about it now or later?
I'm not doing anything with that now.
Then I'll wait.
Then we'll
You
wait.
guys don't get to see that. That was a big tease. Sorry.
Hi, puppy.
Okay. So first of all, I have to show you this. Oh, do I have a deck? Hey, bring over that Lenormand deck on your way back. Chop chop.
Just a minute. This one needs to be ironed.
Hurry, hurry, hurry.
Oh, you just do what you.
Come here, Butchie, Butchie.
This is why I'm mean to you.
Show the magic. This is the coolest new
Say
thing.
it with me, everybody.
There's multiple magics to show you because Peggy has new things.
We had an interesting last few days, and I made stuff.
So this is the first thing that I am super, super excited about. It's like, this is the first prototype. It has really long strings, but this is why. So this is a pouch that opens up all the way into either a casting cloth for your runes or a reading cloth for your tarot.
You're just not.
It's way
quite
easier when it's on a table. But like, see, it opens up into a round reading cloth.
You pull it flat, and then it's a reading cloth. Or if you leave it just ever so slightly tucked up, it forms a lip
for like casting runes or you
yeah,
know.
it forms a lip so you can put dice or something. In
I was like, your timing for this is perfect.
This needs to be on a table so it'll look.
It
more
looks
like,
way better on a table. But I have to tell you, this is really, really timely because Kelly at the Truth and Story just released her pre-order for her journey tokens, and she showed it in like a box with a lip, and I was like, this is like a bag with a lip.
See, you just put your bag in it, put your deck in it. Well, I'm doing it weird because I'm not on a table.
Yeah, so the strings are really long, and then once it's pulled, there, you have to do from wait.
See, that's the awkward one.
Slow down,
I'm
slow
not
down.
gonna slow.
But then you can just wrap.
We're
or do
actually
whatever.
supposed to be staying on topic, and we're
We
having
really
like
said-
show and tell.
I said I would show and tell.
I don't mind show and tell.
I said I would show and tell while people got settled.
Oh, we're showing and tell while people get settled.
Look what she made me. It's not finished yet, though. It's
It needs to be ironed and finished off, but it's
I teased that one on my Instagram last night.
yeah.
So that's
So
another
that
thing.
that is a fun one. I just did that one yesterday.
Journey tokens. Yes, thank you, Nikki. Yeah, those look really, really cool. Yeah, so the casting cloth combo bag or reading cloth combo bag is very exciting. The new embroidery is very exciting.
Yeah, that's all embroidered on. That's not a material.
Yay! I'm so excited. So once that one's finished, I'll be playing with that.
Okay, and you got 2 more to show.
I do.
Oh, thanks, Jen. Okay, go get the other 2.
Don't boss me around. I'm drinking my coffee.
Just trust me and get the other 2.
She's trying to loop in trust. You see what she's doing? I'm trying to control the outcome right now. This is it in real life, folks.
This is my life. As you're told. Where? Come on.
I'm gonna grab. I was hoping to wait and see if Dustin showed up.
Oh, is Dustin here?
Silly.
Dustin needs to be. Well,
Dustin's not here yet. Somebody
He's
poke
probably
Dustin.
sleeping.
He's probably sleeping.
Or working,
He's
or
in Colorado, so he should be awake. I feel like he should be awake. It's
he
like
probably
what? It's like noon in
Hey,
Colorado.
you know what?
Do you know
People have
what?
jobs. He's probably working.
He might be working on a
And he might
Saturday.
be,
That's
yeah.
a terrible life. If you work on a Saturday, I'm sorry.
Oh please! I
Hi,
used to work.
Celtic
I used to work only.
Hi, Caroline. Oh, also.
Oh, see, he was in Simon's Live. He has no excuse. Or he's doing something like, you know.
Ooh, he better get his booty in here. I was gonna show anyways, Peggy's probably sick of shipping me bags. I'm really
No,
bad.
I'm not sick of. Honestly, no. I'm just.
Somebody poke Dustin.
But I'm not gonna be. Well, not. I'm not gonna be. I have to take the. I've got a few bags to list, but I've got to take like the next week off of bags because I'm on a string.
So she's taking a break to embroider us beautiful things instead.
So I'm gonna be
We're not sad about
embroidering
it. Let's not be
and.
sad. There's lots of cool things
Dustin
coming.
probably either had to go to work, go grocery shopping. People have errands. Just do the thing. He too bad, so sad.
But I don't want
You already showed him anyway.
I only showed him a little. Close. All right.
Well.
We're gonna do this. I'll show you
She's
first.
back.
So this one is just that Peggy folded it all under because she's being weird. But I want to show you. So this is
This has not even begun to be finished.
this
yet.
is embroidered
Like an
literally
hour
this
ago.
morning.
Yeah.
So a Flower Life crystal.
This is why
crystal
I missed.
grid.
This is why I missed the first part of the thing because I had to of the
Yeah.
premiere because I had to wait
So
for
this
this
is
to finish.
this is one of the prototypes that is currently in progress.
That is one of the ones. So I'm
And
going to
this-
finish this on a darker or something. I don't
This
know.
one is the
That
first.
one needs to be iron. None of these
It's
have been
got to be
ironed.
iron, yeah.
None of
But
these-
this is the first Metatron's Cube prototype. This is why I wanted Dustin in here because we're totally sending this to him to give some feedback on this as a reading cloth. But so it's already done. It's already backed. Already had its top stitching. It just needs a quick iron. But yeah, it's got like, you can see it's got like some contrasting colors here. So there's some darker thread here. Jen sent Dustin a message through Instagram. If he pops back in, I'll show it to him again finished because all he's seen is a close-up of the Metatron's Cube. There's like a running joke that Peggy has now adopted him. So I messaged him and I said, I hope you love your mommy because she just,
Yeah,
she just made me something.
I'm like, what? How did I? Suddenly, I've got 3 adult children, and only 2 of them are mine.
So those are the 3 new
Yeah.
embroidered pretties. Yeah, there's going to be some crystal grid cloth. Now I'm talking Peggy into doing this on one side, and then on the other side, it being this, but in like purples on, like light purple on a purple galaxy kind of background.
Yeah,
So it'll
yeah.
be-
Everybody send
It'll
Dustin.
be a reversible crystal grid cloth.
Everybody send Dustin a message. Tell him he's a bad son.
Yeah, everybody get a message from, hi Molly.
Mind you, at this point, we're probably on the verge of adopting like a whole bunch of people.
So yeah, crystal grid cloths
I
are
just
coming
folded
to
that
her
down
shop very, very soon.
The one's probably going to be there by this afternoon, but I don't want to promise anything.
Peggy's pretty motivated.
Well, I can't do bags right now because I've got no. I can't.
We just had to order more cord for the bags because you guys are shopping fiends and she's a sewing fiend, so it's a great combo.
Anyway, yeah, I've actually got a second grid on the machine ready to go. So the
Metatron's
not the
cute.
Metatron, the other one. I'll do a Metatron. I'll do
Another
some-
flower of life, right?
Yes, another
Yeah.
flower of life
Yeah.
on the machine already. Anyway, so there we go.
It's okay. Everybody's welcome. Hi, Melody.
No, if I adopt you, Molly, it's
Excuse me.
going to be all brothers because I've
They're
got
all boys.
2 of my own. Apparently, Dustin snuck his way in. I'm sure that Keith is somewhere on the spectrum of halfway to adopted.
And more sisters. You get me with the bundle as
there,
well.
we're just
Fair
gonna
warning. That's so true.
Tell you what, we're just gonna form a tribe, and you guys can sort out how you guys can build your own family tree.
Yeah.
This is the tribe. That'd be a fun project.
That would be a fun project.
That'd be a fun
Darcy
project.
says she'll be your daughter.
There we go. We'll do a fun project, and we'll figure out who everybody is, and we'll.
Peggy's gonna be at the top because that's how I roll.
I don't
Keith,
know
of
if
course
we've
you're
adopted
adopted.
you or not yet.
He's been scooped up.
He's been scooped up.
He's been scooped.
Anyway, so self-trust was the topic. I did
No,
miss-
self-trust wasn't the topic.
I mean, not.
Trusting other people.
Trusting
was the
others.
topic. She wasn't in the video, so she's like all out of the loop now.
I did miss part of it. I was finishing off that thing, and I didn't want. What are you doing, dog?
Shayla's snacking on Bruno. Oh, she wants the rest of her breakfast. We grabbed it from
Ah.
her. That's why she's freaking out. She was
Do I
whining.
really need a daughter that's older than me? I'm 54, Darcy. So if you're older than me, then you have to be my sister.
Yeah, you can be a Peggy sister.
If you're younger, you can be my child.
Do
That's
it.
weird. I just said that the weirdest possible
Sherry
way.
Bug, you'd be an amazing wacky auntie. I'm all about it.
No,
I think
that's
it's great.
I have to babysit the dogs for a second. So I'm
Yeah,
gonna get-
Shayla didn't finish her breakfast and has now
So
decided
trusting
that she wants to eat
others.
it.
That's
Yeah.
hard.
Trusting others is hard.
Well, you
And
know what?
It's like, who to
because there's
trust?
well, I think that might be the bigger thing because
We get
there's-
just your finger in camera. It's awesome.
Okay, kids.
Darcy's 58 in a couple of days. So
Oh,
You
sorry.
can totally be the sister.
You're,
And
you're,
Barb girl can be the sister too. I'm still the baby because I'm 43. How old am I?
You're
42?
42.
I can't remember how old I am. That happens after like 21. They don't matter anymore.
I think, as a matter of fact, I think. Oh
Actually,
my
I
God.
remembered when I turned 40. That was
No,
pretty
you're
memorable.
41. You'll be 42 this year.
You forgot too. Neither one
I
of
had
us
a
know how
moment.
old I am.
Apparently, after a certain age, you get a
Her biological siblings suck too, Darcy. So yeah, you guys.
Oh
team up.
yeah. Oh yeah. No,
You guys
yeah.
both
Let's
could
do
use
it.
a
Let's
good
do it.
sister.
I need a sister that's not a shitbag.
You know what? This is actually kind of funny because I always call you guys my supportive tarot family. And now we're
Well-
legit doing it. We're like, this one's the
Well, the
cousin,
funny
this
thing-
one's
well,
the crazy aunt.
I mean, we could do an entire talk on family because there's your bio family, your chosen family. There's a family.
Oh, we need to add that to the list. Actually, I'm gonna add that to the list right now because about family and blood and all that kind of stuff.
But yeah, no,
Which is
trusting
water.
others is
be a
trusting
great
others
topic.
is an interesting topic because there's always somebody that you just shouldn't trust.
Things are not working. Well, this
You know what I mean?
is
Like, I mean, if somebody spontaneously starts following you down a dark alley, you shouldn't trust them. It's knowing where that fine line is. This person screws up, but I actually can trust them not to screw up past a certain point.
Yeah.
It's, oh my God, my hand. I talk with my hand sometimes, but usually it's below the camera. Now it's like, right here.
Jen points out, hey Peggy, technically I'm your legit sister. That's true. You have one good sister.
Yeah.
Unlike your, sorry, I should not dish your family on camera. That's mean. But they don't watch and you don't care. So
I don't care. I haven't spoken.
Okay.
I haven't spoken to anybody in my family in
What's this about a dark
over
alley?
12 years.
Wait, whose birthday is it? Sherry Bug! Happy birthday!
Sherry Bug has a birthday. All
you want us
right.
to sing to you? I'll make Peggy sing for you.
You'll make me.
She's looking at me.
You'll make
It's gonna
me.
be so many eyes.
Okay, everybody, 1, 2, 3, quietly sing happy birthday.
Peggy's gonna be the conductor. You
Happy
should see her hands.
birthday, dear Sherry Bug.
Happy birthday, Sherry
Happy
Bug.
birthday to my dogs are looking at me like I'm crazy.
They are. Did she finish eating her breakfast?
Well, she's kind of like going, well, I didn't really want that, but I'm hungry. And Bruno's like, why can't I have that?
I know, Bruno's like, I want it.
I am sorry, baby. You cannot have.
That was
I'll
fun.
give you one.
Okay.
I'll give you one little bit. There you go.
Say it like you made it. I'm the little sister who was at once a big pain in the ass.
Well,
Who
it's
was
not-
at once a big pain in the ass.
Okay,
Oh, wait.
so
Yeah,
trust.
you technically would be Peggy's little sister. I forgot. You're older than everybody. You're older than Dirt. I'm just kidding.
Darcy's dirtier than I am.
No, Darcy's
She's older than
Darcy's
me.
much younger at heart. I just know it. Sing to me too.
Honey.
Or should we wait till the day? When's your birthday, Darcy?
Yeah, Darcy's older than me. She said
Yes,
she's-
that's nice. We're talking about birthdays now. Move along. Catch up.
You called her dirt.
You called her Dirt. I didn't
You
call
called
her. I
me
called
Dirt.
you Dirt.
You called me dirt, which
The
means
14th. What
of
day
this
is
month?
today? The 9th. Early happy birthday to Darcy.
Happy birthday.
Anybody else got birthdays coming up? Let's just do this. I want cake. We should get cake and eat it on camera. You know, in celebration of everybody else.
You
I'm
just want
kidding.
cake.
I just want cake.
Okay, so
When do I not want cake?
I
Cake
thought
is
we were supposed to be
fantastic.
on to trusting others.
Sorry, we are. I'm very distractible, as per usual.
You're a squirrel. This is the
Let's
problem.
talk about
we
trust.
gave you too much time to wake up this morning, and now you're a squirrel.
Let's talk about trust being a spectrum. I really want to talk about that because.
Everything's a spectrum and a range. Like, I mean, I say that almost every single video. Everything.
But you had an aha moment when I said it. You're like, oh yeah, that's really true when you were listening. So like.
What did you say? What were you
About
saying?
trusting on a spectrum, not being
Yeah.
black or white.
Well, it's not black and
It's
white.
like you kind of have to figure out where people are on the deserving of trust spectrum, and then there's a totally different spectrum for how much you actually trust them.
Yeah,
Because
see, I
there's-
trust birthday cake too.
I trust.
Oh wait,
cake.
no, I don't. I'm a diabetic.
You don't trust cake.
I don't trust
Well, you
cake.
shouldn't trust cake. You do trust cake, but you should not trust cake.
Don't worry,
Cake
I'm
is out to get you.
Cake is out to get me, yeah. And here's the thing, though. It's like, if you grew up in an environment where the people that you, like, first, regardless of what you do or don't say about family, for all our joking a few minutes ago, there's a certain period of your life when you, yeah, I don't trust that cake. I don't care if I'm fat. I'd just rather not be a diabetic at the same time. But, like, there's that period, there's the formative years. There's the formative years. There's that period of your life, no matter what family you would prefer to have, you're stuck with these people.
Mm-hmm.
And if they are not trusting, not trustworthy, you start off right from the very beginning. See, I'm doing the thing, but
And I was
I'm too
mocking
awake.
you, but you missed it.
And
I was mocking you. Don't pick my nose on camera or anytime. Don't pick my nose anytime. Thank you. Let me just clarify.
yeah, when can I pick your nose?
Never. I mean,
Anyway,
if you really want to stick your finger up there.
but let's not even make it about that. Everybody's different. We all have our own personal stuff that we bring to the table. And knowing when, where, and how to trust your intuition affects how you trust other people. Your past experiences with other people affects how you trust other people. And my God, by the time you get to my age, there's been and Darcy's age apparently, there's been so many people that have screwed you over that now you have to like, now it's no longer always intuitive, and sometimes you have to apply an intellectual exercise to go, okay, I've known this person for 10 years. They've screwed me over this many times, but only in this category, so I can trust them with this, but I can't trust them in that, because then you have to, because we all screw up.
I think it's worth.
It gets really crazy.
I think it's worth
What do you got there?
It's my phone.
Oh.
I think it's worth pointing out that trust is on a spectrum, but there's also no hierarchy. It's not like you're a better person if you trust everybody really easy, or you're not as good of a person if you have a hard time trusting, or that you're a worse person if you trust everyone, and you're a better person if you are more discerning. Like, there's no hierarchy of people on the trust spectrum.
Yeah.
It's just that we have a personal hierarchy for how much we trust somebody, and how much, or rather, that's on the spectrum.
Yeah.
And we also have on the spectrum how much they're worthy of trust. It's one thing to go, I wish I trusted my partner more, but if your partner is constantly lying to you...
I don't lie to you.
I know you're good.
You're amazing.
You are amazing.
Don't screw around on me either.
No, you don't. You're good at that.
I'm
Took
good
me a
at
few
that.
years to figure that out.
Oh my God.
Maybe like almost 10. No, not that long. Maybe like 5
How long
or
have we
6.
been married?
I believed you for a while now.
I worked at a call center with over 200 women, and it's like, oh, the girls are getting together for whatever. It's like, you're not going, are you?
Jen, truth. Sometimes you wish she'd lie to you, right? Like, you just lie to me sometimes. Like, in the good ways. Like, it'll be okay, honey. Not here. Let's talk about the worst case scenario and how we're going to navigate that. Because that is good and useful.
Jen's Balanced Tarot. Was that Jen?
That's Jen.
Oh, you changed your name?
Yeah, she was just Jen on YouTube. But her Jen's Balanced Tarot is the name of her Instagram. So now
yeah,
it matches.
Nobody told me.
Oh, so you're like, who's this Jen?
It's like, it's like,
You seriously didn't figure it out when we're talking about her being your legit sister?
I did, but I didn't. I'm like,
oh, she was listening, not necessarily looking at the screen. So you probably weren't connecting me saying Jen said this with.
Yeah, I thought there were two Jens, and I'm like, what? I don't get it. Like, a Jen's not in. What?
Kidding, not kidding. Yeah, no, it's totally true. Sometimes I wish she'd let me. You're supposed to know.
Oh my God, do you remember getting me that cloth at Christmas time? And how bad you felt lying to me?
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Her and Jen, Lisa was down. Bruno was still waiting for his surgery, so we couldn't take him anywhere because he was fully blind at the time.
So I went down by myself.
Fine now.
I went down with John.
She went down with John over
U.S. Thanksgiving.
And I had said, if there's time for it, grab some fabric on the way back, because Black Friday sales in the States makes it worth stopping into fabric stores to see what's what.
Hi, Lucy.
And they lied to me and said, oh, we couldn't. It was too big of a lineup. And she was like racked with guilt the entire time.
And we did all kinds of... So Jen also bought her a bunch of sewing stuff. And so combined, what we'd done is Jen bought her some things on her card. And then John was with us, and we were going to be going out to dinner. So... He paid for the fabric on his card, so she wouldn't see the credit card statement. And then
they're like, "No, it was really." And I'm like,
"Sorry, we couldn't get anything. It was too, the lineups were too crazy."
And she was like distraught.
They were crazy, but
she was distraught because I'm like, "Well, that's okay. I just mentioned it in case."
And she was being so sweet about it. Jen can tell you.
Cope.
Peggy was being like, "Oh, it's okay, honey. I understand it." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, she literally thinks that I didn't I didn't get this for her." And I felt so bad. So, yeah, and then John put it on his card, and then I paid for dinner so that she would see dinner on the receipt, but not, anyways.
Yeah, you guys, made the guilt worse. No,
it did. The only
one who didn't care was John. John's going, they felt
John
so
thought
guilty.
it was funny. He was like not even concerned. But yeah, then we got home and we had all this fabric, and it was great.
So do you ever get trapped in this situation where you don't trust somebody, but whatever the situation is, you feel like you have no option but to trust them anyway? Like that, doesn't that just make it worse?
No, give me an example.
I mean, some of the best examples always come when you say, at work, like, if your boss lies to you or bullshits you or screws you over at work, you still have to work with this person, and they control the paycheck, so you have to trust them even when they're assholes.
I suppose. Although, I don't know if that feels like trust to me. I mean, I do get the point, though. Like, it's like you are in a position where you kind of have to just do your best.
A lying liar from... you know what?
A lying liar who lies.
My ex was basically a pathological liar, and it was one of the reasons why I divorced his ass. Because
what did Steve say when he was like...
Steve was 3 years old. A 3-year-old. Mommy, why does Daddy lie all the time?
Ugh, my heart.
And I said, hey, honey, your
Yes.
son, your 3-year-old son is wondering why you lie all the time. And he's like, well, did you tell him to knock it off? I'm like, nope, gonna leave you now.
Yeah,
It
Peggy,
wasn't that simple,
Molly
but
points out it's more dependence, not a trust. Yeah, in that
yeah.
example, it's definitely
But
more
this is the
dependence.
problem.
It's like necessary.
Yeah, like I
dependence.
said, when you say at work, it's the most obvious example that people can connect with immediately. But we find ourselves in situations where we
Hi, Tina.
have to
Didn't see you
we
today.
have to put on this trusting face with certain people in our lives.
But there's feigning trust and then there's actual trust.
But it certainly fucks up the. Well, you trust so and so. Why don't you trust me?
Bye, Heather.
Like, oh, bye, Heather. Have fun with your friend. If we find this is where things get completely
Muddied up.
muddied and convoluted. We are in situations regularly where we have to. Okay, I can even use a personal example. If I had a lady with a problem with her order, and she said, "Oh, I had this problem," and of course I had to trust that she was legitimate, explaining a legitimate problem and not scamming me. And it was a legitimate problem. She actually followed up with there was no drama. I didn't. I'm not going to make what I do drama, so that's fine. It's like, okay, yeah, sure. I mean, I'm not sure if you're telling the truth or not, but I'll trust you. That's fine. And she goes, oh, by the way, here's a photo of what the issue is, so you know. And it's like, oh, okay. She was telling me the truth, and that was fine. It was no big deal. But of course, I had to start with a place of trust, whether or not it made sense. And there was nothing going on that made it not make sense. But of course, customers scamming businesses is rampant.
Okay.
Is rampant in some
Here's
areas.
a more personal example
So-
of the same idea though, because this is a good example, but a more personal example is like sometimes with Peggy, because I have to work very consciously on trust and I suck at it a lot of the time.
Oh yeah.
Love you.
I love you too, honey.
Anyway,
You're better. You're better. She was
sometimes-
crazy at the beginning sometimes.
Wow. Anyways, so hold on, we'll get back to that. Sometimes just don't do my crap. Sometimes we'll be having like a tense conversation, and I don't believe her, or I don't instinctively.
Are you telling me the
Hold
truth?
on.
That
I
comes
don't
up.
instinctively believe her, but I have to go with it. I have to make a conscious choice. Okay, I'm gonna just trust that what she's saying she means at face value,
Okay.
even though I want to like debate it or check in about what
There's
she
not
really
enough pillows,
means
I'm
or
sorry.
dig beneath the surface or do whatever. And in those moments I have to make a conscious choice. Okay, instinctively I'm not automatically trusting because that's my personal programming, but I'm going to make a choice to trust anyway. And that's what I have to do regularly because
I don't know what he
because
wants.
of my
He wants
background, because of the way hi Bruno, he would like to be on camera now.
With our cuddles.
Because of the way I was raised, all of that stuff, trust is not my default setting. Mistrust
But-
is my default setting.
Trust is not your default setting, but behaving trustfully towards people is your default setting, which is very confusing.
Strangely, it's
There
actually
is
my
a-
default setting to trust strangers or people I don't know very well, and
Yeah.
to mistrust the people that are closest to me.
Yeah, you get
Because
you
that
get
was
all
the
messed
environment
up.
I was raised in. The people that I didn't know as well were the most healthy for me.
Yeah.
Growing up, so like it's like I sometimes I trust too easily the people that don't deserve it, and I struggle hard to trust the people that do deserve it. Bruno's like, "Excuse me, I'll take your arm, please."
Yeah. No, I mean,
I
thing
can
is,
look around him to see the chat.
thing is that we have to.
Yeah, Molly.
We're not psychic. We have to trust
Ready.
other people to some degrees in every single interaction.
He's just like, "Aw."
Like, okay, let's break it down to the nitty gritty. We don't realize just how trusting we have to be in our data. Like right now, Lisa and I are sitting back here. We're hands off. We're not touching the computer because we're talking. We're trusting the people that are moderating. That if a troll comes in, they'll deal with it.
Truth.
Everything we do. Every time like I said, like that's why I was using even just with the bags and stuff, where it's like, well, it's just a hobby. I don't need to worry too much. I still have to operate with a sense of trust because nobody's coming over in person to pick it out themselves and whatever. So there's a mutual trust. They're trusting that I'm sending a quality product. I'm trusting that they're not going to somehow try to rip me off. And we function with this literally day in and day out. So then we add in some dysfunction from whatever source, and sorting out the source is even an exercise in itself. Yeah, trust is
Where are you
huge.
going? Bye.
I'm getting another pillow because I have a feeling that he wants to be laying on me. So
He's on me now. Don't steal
I know,
my
but he's
doggy.
looking- I'm not stealing your dog.
wants to
If he
steal my
comes back
doggy.
over, it's going to be awkward dog.
Trust is huge, Christy says. I think it's easier to trust strangers because if they turn out to be liars, it doesn't hurt.
Exactly.
Bingo.
If I trust
easier.
somebody and that doesn't work out, I can go and get on with my day.
Did you just flip off the camera? Don't do it again.
To them.
I'm just asking. Bruno's like, hello. And I think too, there's this. This is actually where Peggy and I. This is the funny thing. The reason that Peggy and I even connected at the depth that we connected was because she was somewhere in Canada. I had no idea where.
Yeah.
I was somewhere in the States, and we had no reason to.
Oh, you're an asshole? Click. God.
Yeah, exactly. We had no reason not to be full disclosure from the beginning, to be really open and trusting right from the beginning, because it's simply a matter of blocking them on MSN or Yahoo Chat or whatever the heck we were using at the time.
Yeah, but I mean, over the course of your life, though, people that you care about will do something that breaks your trust. It's a given. It's going to happen accidentally or otherwise.
Yeah, this is the hard thing for me.
And
this is about the boxes, right? They go from the trustworthy box to the untrustworthy box. Bruno, I can't. Apparently, I'm not allowed to talk with my hands. Hello, bunny kisses. Oh, bunny. I love the icons or the what are those called?
It's
emojis.
I think the trick is, the problem is it is on a scale. So where is it healthy? Where is it unhealthy? And that scale changes in every single environment that you go into. And
it's also intensely personal. Like everybody's scale is slightly different, and everybody's reason for that scale is slightly different.
Well, yeah, totally slippery slope. It's basically, it's more about trusting yourself. And I know trusting yourself is a thing, but trusting others is highly contingent on the skill set that you have in knowing how to deal with it if the trust is broken.
That's exactly, okay, so I raised that point in the video actually. It's like, if you are good at regrouping...
Yeah, I know I missed some of it, so if I end up...
It's like, it's kind of like, if you're good at regrouping when things go badly, it's easier to trust because you know you can handle it when things kind of fall apart, if they fall apart. Because I don't deal well with disappointment or things not going according to plan or things that veer me off course, because I really struggle in those situations, it's a little bit harder to take those risks and to put yourself out there, because if you do, Bruno, then and things go badly, you're less equipped to handle it. So the more you work on being able to handle and regroup and get back on the horse, so to speak, the easier it is to put yourself out there. It's kind of all interconnected. So Caroline says, Peggy, I have a younger sister who lies all the time. Thinks she is a devout Christian. She isn't invited to any family functions. Tells me I'm going to hell because of tarot. We are no longer speaking.
Yeah, I'm not. I haven't. Okay, I haven't spoken to my sister in close to 15 years now because she lied.
Look at what's happening.
Because there was an incident that happened in my family where basically my brother-in-law threatened to assault my son. And I'm like, that's not okay. And she's like, that didn't happen like that. That's not what happened. I'm like, dude, I was standing right there and you weren't even in the room. That's not how it happened. It's like, yeah, we're not talking. It's like, nope. Your husband is not going to assault my son while you stand there and go, that didn't fucking happen. He never touched my son. It was just a big, huge issue. But, yeah, like, so...
Yeah.
So, thing is, like, I totally get lying. I totally get it. And let's face it, if we're in trouble, we lie. If I'm in trouble, a little white lie to smooth things over and get past a rough spot, we all do it. We all...
Hold on. In what context with me?
I love you. See? Little white lies help.
What? Which was the little white lie that you love me? Oh my god. Don't take her seriously. She doesn't lie to me.
No, well, no, I don't. But like
if I come out raging hormonal and I'm like, do I look pretty? No.
Oh, you're beautiful.
But she makes it really obvious that she's lying. Like...
Or if you said something and it really annoyed me, and then you wait for 5 minutes to go, oh, did that just annoy you? And I go, no, not really, because I'm over it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go, oh, I had a second where I had a split second. Why would I tell the truth about that split second that is now overdone?
That's something I had to really wrap my head around, actually. So I want to mention that. So there is the kind of like moving past a moment sort of thing that happens in like everyday communication that to me, this is something I wanted to talk about actually. The scale. When hold on. When a small
human beings are just spectacularly fucked up, and there's
that's like I was gonna smack you. That's hilarious. I don't actually abuse her on the regular. I swear. No, you don't. Oh, what? It is not. Oh, he's leaving.
See, look,
bye,
look,
bye, Bruno.
Look. That big imaginary bruise right there.
Anyways, the scale I was actually talking about was more a perspective on the inside. Stop. Okay, I see. I just smacked her again. Stop making me hit you. Oh my god, that's so bad. I can't believe it. Not what I meant. I'm sorry. I take it all back. What I was gonna say was the perspective when a small thing feels exactly the same as a big thing. I didn't have, and still sometimes don't have, any perspective. A very small, hey, that's kind of
a byproduct of being in environments where that's a byproduct of being in environments where you just can't trust anything.
Correct. But I think it's a valid point. Sometimes a small misstep feels like a big misstep, or a small hurt feeling feels like a big hurt feeling. It's like there was very little range for what's something to get upset about and what's something that I could just kind of address and let go. And this, sorry, for one point, and yeah, don't hold on to your thought. Okay. But like, if this is what causes me to do the trustworthy box, untrustworthy box, the very smallest miscommunication can be like, okay, nope, you're in the mistrustworthy box. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, like, okay, with my ex, right? I mean, his perpetual lying just turned into an endless series of, this is the last straw. This is the last straw. No, this is the last straw. It turned into that. For like, I mean, okay, like, let's face it.
That's right, Molly, yeah.
Like, I didn't stay married to him for the sake of the kids, but for the sake of the kids, I owed it to them to make sure that I had tried everything to fix this shit before leaving. Mm-hmm. And it was like an endless series of this. One last straw, one last straw, one last straw. This is, and finally that and other things just because he was an idiot. But anyway, so I leave him, life gets back to normal, and I had such an extreme, you lie to me even a little bit, and I'm fucking done with you. Like, yeah. I was like that for a while, like afterwards.
One extreme to the other, because
I just lived with this for years, where he would lie. I would catch him I would catch him in a lie, and he would go, well, why didn't you back me up? It's like, what? And it was over stupid shit. Really stupid shit. Mm-hmm. He would come home and tell us all about something that happened at work, and it's like, but you don't even work in that department. Why are you saying you were involved in this when you're not there? Well, you're just telling one of your coworkers' stories as if it was you. Oh, why didn't you back me up? It was funny. It's like, it was funny whether it was him or you. Why do you have to take, and it kept going like this, right? But then what happens is then I'm separated from him. Life's getting better. The kids are like, woohoo, yay, no more liars. Like, I mean, the kids didn't even miss him. He was lying so much that they just like didn't trust him anymore. But thing is that for a while after that, it was like, you couldn't even lie by accident. And I was like, oh, really? And
yeah, and Molly points out, she often takes little things as huge betrayals because she's been betrayed so consistently. Yeah. And also that she's been lied to about little things, but it was done so often, and she was gaslighted into thinking that she shouldn't be upset. So now
that's what my ex tried. He tried to convince me that I shouldn't be upset or have a problem with it. And it's like,
dude, he also told you stuff like it's all in your head all the time. And
no, that was what I said. Basically, I would say, look, we've got some problems to solve, and if we don't sort this crap out, I won't be staying. And he's like, we don't have those kind of problems. That's all in your head.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, like, but he didn't say the lying was all on my side. What he tried to do was bullshit me into believing that whenever he did lie, I should just pretend that it was okay and back it up. Hi, baby.
Bruno's now pawing at the tripod. He's like, you're paying attention to the tripod.
Oh, that we don't expect everybody to comment.
Yeah, classic gaslighting. My sister and I were raised in a very heavily gaslit environment.
Your mom was just heavily
gaslit environment. And it really screws with your perspective on trust. It really, what it affected the most was my ability to trust my own memory, my own understanding, my own perspective.
If you
don't know what gaslighting is, it's when somebody basically,
lies or manipulates you into thinking something is true that is not true.
Yeah.
Or
twists events, right?
Or lies or manipulates you into supporting their version of events even when you know it's not true.
Like, we would get things like, we would say something and Mom would be like, that didn't happen, and she would literally look at you like you were crazy. Like, that didn't happen. What are you talking about?
And if you didn't back up and go, oh gee, sorry Mom, I was mistaken,
then all hell would break loose.
All hell breaks loose. So
that can really, really screw with your ability to
That was my ex. He would tell lies about the stupidest shit. He would lie about everything all the time.
You're gonna have to pick him up.
Hi, puppy. You know what? I'm looking at the time and it's like,
do you want to do that really quick?
No, he'll be. We'll see if he's going to be fine.
We'll see.
They're both staring.
They're going to be insufferable in a moment. Yeah, Satya, it can be really, really difficult because it messes with your ability to go. Because then, here's what happened to me. Then I became hyper vigilant about people lying to me or skewing events, which means that in regular everyday situations, sometimes I feel like I'm being gaslit when there's just a genuine miscommunication.
Well, and the problem is that I mean, there's people that just live their lives that way as the liar, as the one that's gaslighting. We all know somebody who's like that, and the closer that person is to us, and the more power that person has over us, the more difficult is for us to learn to trust when it comes to other people. Like, if I say something that turns out to be wrong, am I lying? Am I gaslighting you? Or am I just mistaken?
Well, this is the thing. And this is something I actually still struggle with Peggy on a regular basis. She'll say something very genuine.
Or she has a particular memory thing.
I have a really, really bad memory. Jennifer, my sister Jennifer, can speak to that. We both have bad memories.
Well, you have a disregarding memory. If something doesn't strike you as important, you just completely disregard it. And then if I bring it up later, you'll like, oh my God, you're lying to me. Well, you don't do it now. It's been a process.
But what happens is that...
I gotta walk these dogs or
watch
they're
your back
start.
there, babe.
Oh, it's my underpants.
Her underpants are showing.
My underpants.
You show the internet your underpants.
Okay, guys, I'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Peggy's gonna run the doggies out.
They are not coping.
I think the thing is with gaslighting specifically is that I find myself now in regular conversation. If Peggy's perspective or remembrance of a conversation we've had or something that's come up is different than mine, I'm immediately defensive. I think that's what Molly just said. Yeah, she always feels she's on the defensive now. Yeah. I'm immediately defensive, like, that's not how that happened. And it's funny because in trying to protect myself from gaslighting, I can end up unintentionally gaslighting somebody else, Peggy specifically, because I'll be like, that's not what happened, because I'm remembering wrong, and I can't just easily trust that it could be a perspective difference, or it could be that I've just forgotten something. And it doesn't matter how trustworthy Peggy is to me in my life. I have to work so consciously all the time to take things at face value that trust is such a precious commodity in our relationship, even though she's the most worthy of it. And I remember...
Because I'm amazing!
She's amazing. We had a conversation once where she basically said, you don't trust me. And I was like, I trust you more than I've trusted anyone else in my life. True. And she's worthy of trust. Also true. But she's like, but you still don't trust me. And this was probably about 8 years ago. And I remember we were at a park and I was like, I do trust you. And I was arguing. I was like, I absolutely trust you. And she's like, but you don't actually trust me. And I had to actually stop and go, you're right. I don't trust you. And it hurt so much to admit it, because the reality is I haven't learned to trust anybody at that point in my life. And to say that the person who I valued that much and who was the most worthy of that trust and who had proven that trust time and time and time again, and who I still felt like I trusted more than anybody else, I still didn't trust, was a huge light bulb to the face. I don't know what I was going to say there. A lightning bolt, something like that. Hi, Simon. And Molly. So having to sit with this idea that even her I didn't really trust was really tough. And oddly, it crushed me in a way, but at the same time, it made me aware that I don't trust anybody as my default setting. So for me, trust is a practice. It's something I have to consciously employ over and over and over again with the people that I know deserve it, with the people that I know I'm safe with. And that's such a tricky thing to navigate, because you know what? When you have to work at it, as soon as something makes you feel depleted, AKA, I don't know, somebody in your life dies, or you're having an argument so things are heated, or anything that pulls you away from that mindfulness, and I go back to mistrust as my default setting, and it's really challenging. And the only reason I think that Peggy and I are so good at navigating it is because we talk about it. We put it out on the table and we have conversation, and she is miraculously somehow able to, even when things are heated, say, I know where this is coming from, and she'll help me see where it's coming from, even when we're worked up. And I think that's really special about her. But yeah, she can really sometimes help to pull me over into that trusting place. Sometimes it takes her getting mad, most of the time it takes her getting mad at me before I can kind of pause, breathe, look at it. So sorry, that was like a long monologue, but that's something that, you know, when I talk about trusting others, trust me when I say, see what I did there? Trust me when I say that I know that it's work and a practice and something that you kind of, for a lot of us, we have to consciously work at, either putting that trust out there or pulling it back when we need to. Let's see, what have I missed? Simon came back in, yay! Christine, I totally know what you mean. Buddy Kissin says, I have a hard time trusting, almost like they have to prove themselves first. Yeah, and oftentimes, sometimes that's not a bad thing, right? Like, it's like sometimes based on the experiences you've had in your life, you need to see examples of that trust before you can start to do it. Like Peggy and I were saying, it took years of being together and seeing example after example after example of her being trustworthy before I could really start to consciously work on it. Up until then, there was very much kind of a prove herself period. I don't know that it's healthy or awesome that she had to go through that at all, but we did go through it. And she knew about my background. That's one thing. Even though this is actually kind of an important point. Sometimes if you know that you have difficulty trusting, it's helpful if the other partner knows, or the other person in your life knows what they're dealing with. If you're open about your background, abuse you've experienced, if that's something that feels safe for you to do, if you're able to be open about your experiences, then the other person is better able to know where it's coming from and not take it personally, maybe not take it personally when you don't immediately act as trusting with them. I hope that makes sense. It's kind of like, if you can, maybe it's not easy for you to trust automatically, but it's easier for you to at least share your story. And sometimes I share my story a little too openly, and sometimes I share it a little too indiscriminately. But I also feel like sometimes we don't talk about this stuff enough. And if when I was growing up, if I'd have been able to find more people who could say that they'd experienced something like I'd experienced, I might have been able to realize I wasn't alone. Maybe I would have been able to realize just how messed up that environment was. But instead, I grew up and was like, well, we're not getting beat all the time, so I guess it's okay. And this is something that when you're in a toxic situation, it's so easy to minimize it or compare it to things that you view as really toxic and go, oh, well, mine's okay. Like, it's whatever. It's a little messy, but it's fine. It's really easy to minimize. Yeah, Molly, I agree, unless that person is abusive and uses that info against you. Exactly. You know, and I can't say that I've had that experience a lot. That's not true, actually. I just realized the one really, really toxic partner I had did use that against me, and I didn't realize it until after, and it made it much more difficult for me to be open. Essentially, they took information I shared with them and a vulnerability, and they twisted that vulnerability and manipulated me with it. And I didn't know until I was out of that situation that that's what had played out. It was really clear once I was out of it that that's how that played out. But yeah, there are people that do that. And it's kind of this weird dichotomy where I don't trust people easily as far as taking them at face value, but I trust people easily as far as me being vulnerable with them. Sometimes. Often. Does that? Yeah. I feel like some of you understand what I mean. Okay, who's an ultimate deck enabler? I'm curious. I have to know. Christy, I used to say that I'd rather be beat than to be beat up emotionally. Not healthy or good either way. But man, you start thinking crazy stuff. It's very true. It's like, wait, it's funny because when you're, not funny, like funny, not funny, right? When you're in the situation, you're like, well, my situation isn't as bad as so-and-so's, because that's partly, I think, a coping mechanism. It's like, this isn't a big deal because this person has it worse. And we put everything in this, like, weird perspective comparing thing. Peggy's back! Puppies are back!
Puppies are back!
Oh, Christine, I saw the title of that video, Simon, but I haven't watched it yet. Deck of the Bastard, right? I can't wait to watch that video. It's queued up in my watch later list.
So are you staying on track, or are you going all
mostly? Molly says, especially when others minimize your experiences when you're able to speak up. Then once your experiences are invalidated, it feels like, what's the point of feeling upset over what's happening to me? That happened to me a lot growing up because...
because it's useless, but then also, what's the point of ever trusting that person again if that's how they're going to handle it? Sorry, I'm just going to jump in.
Yeah, but what I was going to say was basically, that happened to me a lot where I was invalidated by people who couldn't see the person that I was... Like, where mom specifically is concerned, because that's what I'm talking about. She was one person to everybody else and somebody different in private. We used to call it the mask before we found out that that's actually a really classic trait of a thing. Anyways,
yeah.
So everybody saw her mask. So we literally felt like I was crazy. I was like, okay, nobody saw it. So I would have people literally talk me down.
Like,
yeah, you saw it right away. You were good.
You didn't believe me.
I didn't. But
you're like, no. It's like, oh yeah.
So yeah, it can be really tough when other people don't see. You can say we, thanks, sister. Yeah, I'm trying to be careful about not roping my sister into some of these conversations without her, like, consent and stuff. But yeah, definitely we were both raised in the same environment.
She can tell you she has a problem.
She did, I know.
See?
Let's talk about that for a second. This whole thing about treating other people as grown-ups who can actually make their own decisions. This is kind of in that whole
That's
controlling
trusting,
outcomes.
though. That's trusting. It's like, dude, if I'm going to trust you, then you're just going to have to act like you're trustworthy. If not, fuck you.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what
Sorry.
I'm saying. Is that it's
I
like,
have to help. I got back. I'm trying to catch up.
it's okay. It's good. But it's like, that's what I have a hard time. We just had this come up the other day. I said it in the beginning of my premiere. You missed it because you weren't watching the premiere, but I was like,
Yeah,
it's
I
funny.
watched part of it, but not enough of it.
It's funny how each week I do these Self-Worth Saturday videos. Whatever topic comes up, and I mentioned this in the video, whatever topic I'm going to be covering, I usually have like one major like screw up or confronting moment with that particular issue that week.
Let's talk about
often the day before.
Let's talk about this so that I have a good example. I'm going to manifest some of it.
I don't know if that's what I'm doing, but like Peggy and I had this big thing the other day, and it was this. It's as simple as this. There was information. I didn't clear up a miscommunication when I could have because I overthought it, and I wasn't letting her be a grown up and just give the information and let you make your own decisions.
You weren't trusted. You did not trust that if you did not trust that the extra information was gonna make a difference, so you just didn't bother.
Yeah, and I also didn't trust. Yeah, it's like I withhold because I'm trying to control the outcome.
Yeah.
Right? It's definitely
not managing other people's reactions. That's
exactly it, Molly. Not managing other people's reactions.
And that's why it makes it hard to trust them, because trusting can, like I said, we have to trust people in everything that we do already, to one degree or another. So that next level of trust is really, really hard because you don't want to because you don't want to give up that control.
Caroline says, Peggy, you can do things wrong, but we can't get through this if you lie. They know they can tell me anything, but don't lie to mom. It's a no-no. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the other thing is that I want to point this out. Some of us feel like we can't trust anybody ever, but we actually trust people all the time, every single day, without even realizing it. We trust the bus driver when we get on the bus, usually, without even thinking about it, that we're not going to die on our way to wherever we're going, and that they're going to be a decent driver. We trust our employer to make sure we get our paycheck on time, usually. We trust, there's little ways that we trust every single day in ways that don't feel as personal, interpersonal, relationship based. So we do trust actively, regularly.
What Molly is saying, I was taught to manage the emotions and the reactions of others, and it's been so hard to unlearn.
Oh my God!
But here's the thing. We all learn this, though. This is something that we all learn. Be nice to the waiter, and they'll be nice to you. That's an act of trust. Do this, and this will happen.
But what we're talking about is she's talking about managing other people's emotions.
No, I know that, but this is where it becomes a spectrum. We have the healthy ranges that are really, really good and gets us through the day, and then we have the unhealthy ranges, and finding that happy medium is so hard.
But can I just say how validating that is to see? Because yes, 100%. Oh my God, Molly, we had the same parents. Oh my God, we had the same parents, like exactly the same parents. What the hell? So yeah, basically, my sister and I were raised in an environment where it was our job to make sure mom didn't get upset. And it was our job to comfort mom if mom was upset. And it was our job to apologize to mom if mom was angry. And it was our job to make sure mom was feeling okay all of the time.
And your mom needed constant validation, so she was always angry, upset, or miserable over something.
And so everybody reacts to that in different ways. And yeah, we literally were raised in the same household, I swear to God.
But we all have at least one of those in our lives. It's just a matter of how much influence and control they have over us. Therefore, how much influence and control they have over forming our perceptions and our way of dealing with the world.
Yeah, and this is where we were all just kind of it felt a little bit like my sisters and my dad and I were all like co-victims in a situation. The difference is that Dad was an adult and he could have made different choices, but that was what it was too. It was all this really toxic, horrible mess. But Peggy makes a really good point. Even in the most healthy of situations, we're still to some degree socialized to ensure other people have a good experience with us. And so sometimes we, even in mild, healthy ways, are taught to manage other people's expectations or other people's reactions.
And then we all have our own individual personalities that we bring into it.
But this is exactly why we tend to flow into behavioral patterns where we try to control outcomes of conversations and situations. It's like, I want this person to be happy with me, therefore I'm going to say XYZ if they say XYZ, and I'm going to do XYZ if they do ABC. Yeah. And we plot out our course because then we know exactly what the outcome will be, we think. Not that it ever goes that way. But
yeah,
we think we'll know what the outcome will be, so we plan it. And I'm sorry, honey, what was that?
Oh no, I'm just kind of glancing at the chat, and thing is that
and now plead guilty to try not, so you get a lesser sentence.
I think a good exercise for a lot of people.
Yeah.
and it's not. And this is like you have to tailor it to your own wants, needs, and level of self awareness. A good exercise for a lot of people is to take the time to be aware of the ways in which you have to trust other people in small ways, and then just kind of work on building from that slowly. Because one of the biggest things that you try to do is you go, I need to trust this person more, and it's you just try to go from 0 to 100 and then can't figure out why it doesn't work.
Baby steps is a good point. One thing that I'll do when Peggy and
I
are having a
that's
moment.
the hardest part is that it takes time, and nobody.
You might not even know
By
this.
the time people realize they need to do it, they don't want not. I don't want to say don't want, but by the time it reaches the stage where it's like I have a real issue with trusting people, I need to do something about this. It's not something you undo in a day, and obviously by the time you become that aware of it, you really, really want to undo it in a day.
I want to point out one thing that I will do that when I do it, it actually works really well with Peggy. When we're having a moment where I'm like, my immediate feeling is distrust in that moment, one thing I'll do is I'll tell myself, okay, I will take her at face value for a minute. I will take her at face value just for now, and I'll be suspicious as fuck, and I will let myself be. But this is actually important.
No, I know. Just the way you're saying
I'll
it.
let myself be super suspicious about where it's headed. Like she'll start to say something, and I'll want to like, shut that down. I don't like that.
Yeah,
but I'll wait.
That's the trust. That's the.
Yeah, but I'll wait, and I'll go. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna just assume that what she's saying is exactly what she means for like a minute, and see where she goes with it, and give myself a moment to just pretend I trust her. This is literally what it is. Pretend I trust her for a minute. And then when I do that, a lot of times where it goes is fine, but I'm literally kind of gritting my teeth through that moment, going, I don't trust this, I don't trust this, I don't trust this. And then as it continues, it starts to get easier and easier and easier to let go, to not grit my teeth, to kind of relax and go, okay, this is going in okay place, we're all right. And so sometimes for me, a lot of the stuff we talk about in Self-Worth Saturday, a lot of times it's me faking it till I make it. It's me pretending for a little while so that I can practice.
You know, the funny thing is, no, it's not funny. I mean, that is a tactic that works for some people, and it's not a tactic that works for everybody.
But
that's kind of the big but, because we kind of live in a society. What are you doing? You are touching.
I know.
Things.
I'm sorry. There we go.
We live in a society right now, and this is, and I'm always like, hey, let's just jump to the big picture, but it's like if you were to go. If you go to see a therapist to resolve these issues, and I want to say it the right way because I have nothing against therapy, for those who need it. But if you go to a therapist or a particular environment to fix your issues, you're going to be going to somebody who went to the same college as every other therapist, who is taught the same tactics and techniques as every other therapist. So if what you need doesn't fit the neat little box that therapy says you need in order to resolve this, you're kind of screwed and you're kind of out in the wind on your own.
It's an interesting perspective. I don't know, but...
Well, okay, but look at... Okay, one of the bigger issues that you had to deal with, and this goes back to trusting others, is that you have an issue with trusting authority figures, so going to therapy was problematic. Mm-hmm. It's like, for me, am I doing what I need to do, or am I just simply doing what I'm told because a different level of expert told me to do it?
This is the problem. And I told Peggy that from the beginning. I said I can't go to therapy and get the same benefits because for me, as soon as somebody... Yeah.
I'm amazing.
You're amazing. As soon as somebody... But I've also verbalized it too. It's like, as soon as somebody's in a quote authority position, I have a tendency to minimize my own needs, my own beliefs, my own feelings. And so it's really a weird place for me where I can literally let other people tell me what to feel if I'm not careful. And so unless I'm in a place where I can be really self-honest, I can end up getting led down a bizarre path because I jump on something somebody else says and now I'm over here in left field when what I need to be working on is right in front of me. And lots of love to you, Christy. That stuff is tough. It's tough when you're a parent and you can only control and do so much. It's tough. It's tough. Thank you, Molly. Yeah, we are only now learning how childhood trauma affects people into adulthood. Trauma-informed therapists aren't common yet, but they're getting there. I lucked out because Peggy, in a lot of ways, was raised in a similar but different enough environment that she had a lot of clarity about things that I didn't have clarity about.
I kind of had... I don't know. It's kind
of... Your mother was a narcissist, too, but she was a different kind.
My mother was a narcissist, but I also have absolutely no memory of either of my parents ever telling me that they love me, so it's like... Oh, so you see, when you're seeing through it as it's happening, even from a relatively young age, it affects you completely differently. But the thing is, now, to Molly's statement, therapy is outdated. I don't know that therapy is outdated. I think therapy is one track. Therapy is so standardized that we have this is your problem, this is the cure, and human beings are far too individual for that. Every one of us is unique.
I do think that that's
So,
changing now, and there's a
I
lot
think
more
I
unique
think it's
approaches
I think it's
available now. But
no, I do think it's changing, and I think there's more approaches available. But like some people can have now, some people can have trauma in their lives, and yet the thing that they need therapy about has nothing to do with the trauma. So you go to a therapist, and they go blah 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 blah. I'm trauma informed. Have you had trauma? And you go, well, I've had trauma, but this isn't really affecting what's going on. Oh yes, it has, because this particular box says that this is what's going on. This box says this. It's and I'm not trying to devalue either one.
yeah, like I don't want to pick on therapy because I think there's people that it works really well
no,
for.
therapy works really well for a lot of people. My problem with therapy has always been that it's standardized. So therefore, if what you need
doesn't fit the
cookie cutter version of what you should be, if you have this problem, this is what you should do about it. That's the standardized version of therapy. But if you have this problem, this may not be the solution for your particular situation. And therapy doesn't really work in those gray areas outside of the cookie cutter.
Well, and disclaimer, neither one of us have had therapy. So this is just impressions that we have. I just want to be clear about that.
We've also spoken with people who have had therapy, and it's like, wow, that's really cool that worked for you, but this wouldn't work for me because, and
I just want to make sure that we're being clear because we're going out to the great wide internet, and I don't want people to think that we're saying this is how it always is because we don't have those direct experiences. But
just like everything else, if you go to a particular hairdresser and they're not quite familiar with your needs.
She was just saying they make her feel so much better.
Oh, I'm so glad.
I like to have a space where we can just kind of talk about all this stuff very openly because and some of us benefit. I know that there's people right now in chat who are benefiting just by listening to people be vulnerable and open.
Just by the validation of finding out that they're not alone.
And if you are here and you are not talking, that is completely okay, and you are welcome in this space. You can be a total voyeur in here because I feel like sometimes people need to hear for a while.
And you don't have to agree with what our opinions are. You don't have to agree with that. This is the point. Like I can have, like I said, like I've spoken to a lot of people that have gone through therapy that have said this really helped me. And I've gone through people who have said this was a waste of my time. Mm-hmm. And
I knew which category I was in from the get-go for so many reasons.
Because now, if you needed a check-in and decide on therapy right now at this point in your life when you're not so terrified of authority and people pleasing where authority is concerned, it might bring a different thing to your life. But if you'd have started with therapy, it would not have brought you the benefits that you need. And I'm saying, like I said,
no, you and I agree on that point totally.
I just want to start every sentence with. This is not that I have a huge issue where therapy is concerned. I have an issue that therapy has become standardized so that people who don't fit in the cookie cutter mold don't get the cookie cutter solution and don't get help.
Yeah, totally agree. And you guys, I agree. I don't care how off topic we get. I just love these topics.
Yeah, because the main thing here is
the safe space, like the being able to talk openly.
Here's some safe space. Here's you're not alone. You're not alone. You're not alone. That's point 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way up to number 9.
20 billion.
Here's some ideas that may help you in some way. But I'm not. Neither one of us are pretending that we're handing out a cure. We're talking about the things that we have found successful
that helps
for ourselves or for other people that we have been close to.
I think too, it's important to point out that like this was actually a really difficult topic to film in a lot of ways because I wanted to be careful that I wasn't suggesting that
sharing and safety, and that's something that's what Simon just said.
Yep. I wanted to be careful that I wasn't just saying you guys should all just flip the trust switch on because
absolutely. Don't believe everything I'm saying. I'm an idiot. Like
no, well that's not what I was getting at all. Actually, that's a totally different point. But like I don't want to make it sound like we're supposed to be like just flipping it on or turning it off. I wanted to open the discussion
Christy.
I wanted to open the discussion more for I can't hold the train of
thought. You know what? I always have this lovely magical term that I've been using for like the last 30 years, and I call it sucks but normal. And a lot of people, when they have the freedom to say, I'm not the only one, this isn't just me, trust issues, every single one of us has trust issues, sometimes over some things. Yeah. Some of us have a lot of issues over a lot of things. Some of us, it's only a small little thing up here. It's a range. Again, it's a range. But it sucks to... You can just
Stop
feel
with the hand.
it sucks that this is something that so many people have to deal with, but it is normal for most of us to have to deal with this in some way or another. Sucks, but normal. And we don't talk about that enough. In Shayla, you were just outside. We don't
She
talk
wants to go
about
play in the
she
sun.
wants treats. We don't talk about this enough in any category of our lives.
I'm having a little bit of difficulty. I'm having a hard time.
I'm on my soapbox.
Yeah, I just
I'm
need
helping.
to try to get a point out because I'm struggling
Yeah,
with
no.
it and I'm fixated. So I feel like I want to make sure. Hold on, I just need to do this because I'm not holding my trains of thought very well at all right now. But I feel like sometimes this can end up coming across like any of these topics can end up coming across like this is what you should do. And I think it's important to remember that some of us are in situations. I'm luckily not. But some of us are in situations where we have people in our lives that we need to mistrust, that we need to treat with mistrust.
Absolutely.
There are people that we need to be guarded around. There are people that, and I just wanted to be clear.
That is another sucks but normal aspect of existence.
But
it's not always your issue.
I need to, I just
Sorry,
need to
no,
like
you're
go
saying
on my
it right.
soapbox for a second.
You're saying it right and I'm just helping.
But yeah,
Okay,
I feel like it's important to, I guess, clarify that this is not something you need to do. But for me in my life, I guess, I want to recognize that where there are people that are trustworthy, that have earned that trust, or that are worthy of that trust because of how they interact with me personally, with those people, I want to do better. And that's where this is coming from. So practicing trust with the people you know deserve it, which is why the very first journal prompt is like, think about somebody you think is worthy, that you want to work on trust with, and explore why they're worthy of that trust and why they might not be. And look at it really honestly. Because if you are trying to force yourself to trust somebody who's not deserving of that trust, that's a whole horrible pitfall for you to get put into and can actually damage your ability to trust other people. Okay, that's what I was trying to say. I was really struggling in my head there for a minute. I was like, oh my God, I don't know how to say this.
Because we don't have language. Right? Because the language for most of this stuff does not exist unless it's existing in a very narrow cookie cutter channel.
That's right. Hi, too bad.
You guys keep looking
Tracy,
at my...
right? Oh my gosh, I'm so bad. Tracy.
Yeah, hi everybody. I'm sure that people have came and gone while I was even out of the house, but...
Yeah, exactly, Molly. That's exactly kind of what I'm thinking of. There are people who need to be vigilant, who, because of their life circumstances, you're in a position where that's healthy and necessary.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I guess that's what I wanted to address was, can you raise your arm just a little bit? No, don't take it away. Find the happy medium. Oh my God, show them what you do when I'm cuddling and you want me to move. Like she has to gnaw her own arm off to get me off.
First time I did that, I thought she was going to cry.
You have to go back up again. Here you go.
No. What are you doing?
You gotta find the right spot. There. Not middle of my back, up above. Do it right. You did it good. You're good now.
I'm fine. I'm doing it right.
I mean, you may be super uncomfortable, but I'm comfortable now, and that is clearly what matters.
Yeah, narcissists are completely convincing.
Being told I believe you is everything. It is everything. I had friends that knew me, I thought, better than anybody.
Oh my God.
Didn't freaking get it. And it hurts so bad. It's like, how can you not get it?
You had people who told you that they were your friend and they were totally malicious shitbags.
Yeah. And people who I feel like heard me cry and heard me process and still didn't freaking get it. And you're right, yeah. Simon, there is no pain worse. And you want to be seen. You want to be heard. You want to be believed. You want to be validated. When you don't feel like you're believed, number one, you start to doubt your own experience. Like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this isn't my valid truth.
Maybe I don't have a right to feel this way. That's something else, too. That's big. It's like, and a lot of it,
we all need somebody to say, I hear you, I believe you.
Well, and let's face it, this is every single trust issue is related to having somebody can be...
Hi, Lucy.
Somebody can be an absolutely amazing... This is the fucked up part. Somebody can be an absolutely amazing person and be just such a bad fit for you and who you are and the kind of person you are that your relationship with them is completely fucking toxic.
That is so true.
And you're like, I'm not... But now it's like, I don't trust myself. I don't trust them. And I'm not allowed to have a problem with it because everybody else thinks that person is wonderful. And it's like, no, I'm allowed to have a problem with it. And maybe I have to figure out a different strategy for dealing with it.
Sending massive hugs to Molly because I hear you on that. And also,
Yeah.
you know, Peggy and I talk about how we have a functional dysfunction. To some
Every
degree,
relationship
her
is
kind
a
of baggage
functional
and my kind of baggage
mesh.
actually fit together like
Yeah.
a nice little puzzle.
And
And
that's what a relationship is, though.
it's like finding your functional dysfunction.
There are people, yeah, it's finding your functional dysfunction
Because the ways that we are messed up in a weird way
it's
complement each other.
It's cookie cutter. Oh, well, you're only supposed to date a guy who's tall, good looking, has a nice job, on a career path, da da da. It's like, well, no, what if your perfect fit is the guy who is in a rock band on the weekend and is a bricklayer during the week? And we are
to expect and want a certain type of person.
We are taught who would want to be a bricklayer? Only somebody who can't achieve and get an education would be a bricklayer. It's like, dude, I just want somebody. You know what I mean?
Example,
I'm saying it wrong. I'm saying it all ass backwards.
If Peggy hadn't also been from a narcissistic parent household, but a completely different type.
Yeah, the rock band guy. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. And then you just gotta.
I'm saying a thing. If she hadn't have been from the background that she was, so we both had a narcissistic parent. Her narcissistic parent.
Yep.
Stop it. Her narcissistic parent was totally different than mine. And because it was different, she had a different perspective and was able to see things I couldn't see. And because of that, we were able to like
mesh it all in. Well, it's functional dysfunction because, like, and this is the thing, like, somebody's in every single relationship. It's like, but we function as a society. We function on our stereotypes. We want the girl to be younger. We want her to be thin. We want her to be absolutely into having kids. We want her to have a career. We want this. We want that. We want the guy to be tall, dark, and handsome and he's got to have a house and a nice car. It's like, what the actual hell? How many people actually fit into that stereotype?
Very few.
None. Nobody.
I mean, there's got to be somebody.
Well, there's got to be somebody, but
yeah.
But the thing is that our perfect match is almost always somebody that we wouldn't expect to be the perfect match because
Concordia discourse, harmonious discord.
Interesting. There you go.
And Molly, you know, my partner's baggage and my own baggage clashed and triggered each other. We made each other worse. Yeah, it's like if you find the person who has the wrong set of if I've had partners who, in fact, every partner pretty much I had before Peggy was the partner that actually exacerbated my baggage.
Oh, absolutely.
Just their particular set of issues actually highlighted mine and made mine worse. Not that it's their fault. It's just that I needed a partner who could actually, like, I always say call me out on my crap, but that's what I want from tarot too for that reason. But I need people that aren't going to, like, enable my more toxic behavior and that are going to help me be more aware and that are going to help me grow and not just pat me on my head and say you're pretty, right? Like, I need, even though I want that, what I want and what I need are actually very different. I might want a partner who's going to constantly, like, coddle me and make me feel good and all that stuff, and you do that in your own way. But I mostly need a partner who's going to be like, no, man, you're going to sort this shit out because you need to, or things aren't going to be okay.
Yeah, this is what you need to be a better person.
So it's like I need versus I want.
But here's the thing. You can't change the other person into what you want them to be. I never changed you. I encouraged you. I helped you. I gave you ideas, feedback. We talked back and forth.
Yeah, there's lots of nurturing. I make you sound like a badass. But yeah, lots of nurturing was happening.
But like, you know, I call you on your shit, and then you decide what you can and can't do about it. I don't say you need to do this.
Yeah, you don't tell me how to deal. You let me know that it's a problem that I need to address.
This is an issue, so we need to sort it out.
Yes, and often it's a we hash it out together. We work it out together, and you're often good about giving, like, feedback, you know.
But the thing is, and I'll tell you right now, somebody else's perfect match is the strong, silent type who doesn't say a word. Because it's not...
It's so hard for me to relate to that because I would not do well with somebody like that.
Because they're not your perfect
match. So it seems really icky.
It seems really... I know a couple who are, like, totally happily married, and they practically live separate lives. Because they just do their own thing. They're both very independent. They both do this. And I'm like, I could not live like this.
I know. I'm like, you've got octopus girl.
I'm like, hey, I'm doing something on, hey, look, I made a stitch. Come look. I like having somebody, like, we do everything together. That would be stifling and smothering for a lot of people.
That's very true.
But people don't recognize that.
Yeah.
Because we're so hung up on on this. Because we're in this one-track society and we don't really see outside of those boxes. Like, Yeah, no, it's kind of.
Words are my friends. They help me deal. I get
Oh
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is part of it. Like we don't have the land. A lot of the stuff that we could be dealing with to make a more functional, to make ourselves more functional and our society more functional doesn't even have the words to describe it and deal with it haven't even been invented yet.
Stereotypes do suck.
They do, but at the same time, we fall for it. We fall for it all the time. Oh, I need to lose some weight. It's like why? If you're healthy, who cares if you're fat? No, I need to get out and walk more because my leg's been bugging me. But that's because I need to strengthen my leg, not because I need to lose weight.
Well, even regardless of health,
You know
it's
what I mean?
kind of like that's all up to you. That's personal.
It's
like,
personal.
If you're feeling like you're getting what you need out of life, then that's up to you.
Yeah. If you are happy living in
you don't owe anyone your beauty, your health, your
happiness,
subservience, your happiness, your niceness. You don't owe anybody your
trust. We have
trust.
to get along with all those people.
That's true. Yeah.
And that sucks.
We still have to interact in society.
We have to interact in society.
Could we just have our own society? I want a supportive tarot society.
Let's
make our own.
Look at our place right now. Now my sewing area is in the dining area.
It's not a dining area. It's a sewing studio.
It's a sewing studio now. But the thing is that because we've made these changes, we're a little bit more cluttered and frumpy than I mean. Honestly, you can come in here and go, "Wow, you guys have got this pretty frumpy thing going on." And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't care.
Exactly.
I don't have to care. I don't have to feel bad. I don't have to apologize." So
it's true.
Tarot Society. There you go.
Tarot Society.
Anyway. No, it's hard. Trusting people, there are so many situations in which we have no choice but to at least behave as if we trust somebody. So we're not, so when we really don't trust somebody, and my God, if we don't think we have enough proof to back it up, we certainly don't give ourselves permission to not trust somebody.
So true.
It's like, well, everybody else thinks this person is wonderful. I don't trust him, but everybody else thinks he's wonderful. So until he proves that he can't be trusted, I have to do this and this and this. And it's like, well, do you really?
Yeah.
Like that's getting, yeah.
Yeah, I hear you, Simon.
Honestly, Simon, I know a lot. I know a lot of people who trust too easily, and sometimes they are literally depending on the situation, because it can be very situational. I've known some of these people who trust so easily they might as well have a big bullseye on their back. They get taken advantage of constantly, and they just don't know how to say no. They don't know how to back out of it. They don't know how to stand up for themselves.
You know what it is?
And it's hard because it's like, oh, you should just do this. And it's like, that might not work out the way you plan if it's somebody you have to work with or if it's somebody that you're related to. Or
I think it's interesting because at the same time, it's kind of like if you trust really easily, you can. This is what I told myself for years, actually. And I do think it's kind of true. If you trust everyone as your default, if like you're like, oh, I'm going to trust this person and that person and this person and that person, you actually open yourself up to have some really amazing experiences. But you also open yourself up to have some really devastating experiences. And so for a long time, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to let people who treat me like crap make me jaded because I like having an open heart and I like being vulnerable.
Jaded.
You're jaded. I've become a little more jaded over time, but I spent a long time kind of consciously going, I'm not going to let that affect me. I'm still going to trust. But over time, I kind of realized that I was throwing everybody in the trustworthy box or everybody in the not trustworthy box. And this is where I realized that it was not a range. And sometimes you need to trust people, like not need to, but sometimes it's good to trust people in the beginning a little bit, feel them out, go forward with trust. But as somebody said earlier in the chat, when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. Believe them.
Yeah. Well, and it's this, but again, it's the range. Like, I mean, I've got friends that I can trust with my life.
Yeah.
But I would never be able to tell them a secret.
Yeah.
I've got friends that I could tell any secret that I want. They would never reveal a secret, but if I give them $5, I'm never getting it back.
Like, yeah, it's like sometimes people. Yeah, Peggy's point is basically completely spot on. It's like yes, and Jen just said too. That's me too. I expect them to treat others as I would treat them, and I'm always flabbergasted when people are so willing to be awful to others. Yeah, agree on all points.
I think part of it is people are willing to be awful to each other, and some people are awful and don't think they're being awful.
And Molly makes a valid point too. Sometimes you're just
understanding how your behavior is impacting other people is also something that most of us struggle with.
Mm-hmm. And Molly makes a good point too about she just basically says she can't handle being hurt. I feel like I don't have it in me anymore to take that risk. Sometimes it's literal survival. It's coping. It's like I'm not going to trust until I am proven without a shadow of a doubt that I can trust. And even then, I'm only going to trust you so much. And that can be a conscious choice.
I can be like that.
And that can be perfectly healthy depending on the circumstance.
I've got people in my life that I trust, and everybody else
You're
I'm
grain of salt until you know.
Yeah, I'm grain of salt, and it's like depending on the person, I'm grain of salt 20 years later. It's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's something else too, is like you have to give yourself permission to say it's fine that I don't trust everybody all the time. Because my God, we are supposed to feel guilty about that.
Barb, I have a terrible memory too, and it is an excellent secret keeper. In fact, it's funny. Related to tarot, actually, when I was learning to read for other people, I was giving my first experiences with tarot were really intense. I was making people cry. It was really intense. And because it was so intense, I kind of trained myself to forget. So it's interesting now that I'm much further along in my tarot reading practice, where I still very unconsciously forget readings when I give them. If I have a client come back again, I might have to review a previous reading if I actually want to remember. But most of the time, I think it's kind of neat because I can bring that fresh perspective each time, and I don't bring a whole lot of baggage. But sometimes people have to remind me, Peggy will remind me, oh, you did this reading where you said blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what? Oh, cool.
I remember
that sounds cool. I'm glad I predicted that, or I'm glad I pointed that out. That's neat.
But,
weird.
No, trusting, I mean, basically, you have to give yourself, you have to give yourself permission to trust. You have to give yourself permission to not trust. And it's hard. Like I said, you can trust and not trust the same person, and that's confusing.
Simon makes a really, really good point, actually. It's that whole, like, why do I attract this? So let me just say this point blank. People that consciously or unconsciously are takers or are people that take advantage are naturally, without meaning to, attracted to people who
are givers.
And so if you are the type of person to constantly give people the benefit of the doubt, to give them third, fourth, fifth chances, the people that least deserve those third, fourth, and fifth chances are going to be the people that are drawn to you. Yeah. Those are the people that are like, oh, this is somebody who will finally understand me, who will finally accept me. That's what they're thinking. They're not thinking, oh, this is somebody I can rake over the coals, at least most of the time.
But they are raking.
But they are, yeah. I mean, energy vampires are drawn to energy overgivers. If that makes sense. Energy. The best way to pull yourself back from that is forgive yourself for who you are, because who you are is part of you. That's if you can love and accept yourself as who you are.
Just buy a bag once in a while. We're happy.
Peggy!
Sounds like I should get paid for this.
Oh my God, you do not have to buy Peggy's shit.
Oh no.
I mean, it's good shit.
No, don't.
But this is the
drainers and radiators, and that's exactly it.
But instead of worrying about why do I attract this? Instead, if you can focus on, you know what? I like this about myself, but I'm going to put up a boundary that says that only people who are worthy of this, of me, am I going to allow close. And what that means is, and we'll talk about this more as we start to explore boundaries in a future Saturday, but it's just, you can actually completely embody who you are. You don't have to give up who you are. You just have to sort of build a bit of an
awareness.
You know what I'm thinking of is like a cell wall. You know how a cell wall lets in what it needs to and repels what it can't use? It's exactly the same. You have to build a personal cell wall that's like, you know what? I'm going to be myself, but I'm also going to believe you. If you take advantage of me, I'm going to push you further outside of my cell wall because, am I making sense?
Well,
I'm very visual metaphors and stuff.
I mean, the standard answer to
drainers and radiators. Yes.
Like the standard answer is, well, you know, like, well, just build a thicker skin and learn to say no, and that's fine. That's fine as a definitive statement, and it's just learn to put those boundaries and limits in place in a way that still honors who you are.
Sometimes it's only an intention. Sometimes it's not like an action you take. It's an intention that you are going to allow in the people who deserve you. Sometimes it's literally a conscious thought. I'm not going to give this of myself except to people that deserve it. And you will radiate. This might sound a little woo, but you will radiate out a different sort of confidence. And that confidence will repel people who are only going to take from overgivers.
But it takes time to build that up.
It does take time. And practice. And convincing yourself it's actually true that you deserve better. That's the biggest thing. This is why this is called Self-Worth Saturday. Trusting other people, trusting ourselves. These are self-worth based issues. The more we believe we're worthy, the better we are.
And it's believing like you have a right to your boundaries. You have a right to the word no.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. You can still say yes and still take that chance, But when you acknowledge to yourself, I can still say yes to you, but if things don't go right, I can then say no to you. Say this isn't working out, so I need to change this to a no. Um, just empowering yourself to know, because that's the biggest thing. Well, I've already said yes, and now I feel guilty. I can't back off. I can't change my mind. I can't do this and I can't do that. And it and again, it's back to the scale. It's back to the situation. But when you start bringing when you start bringing self awareness into this, when you say, oh, somebody's just asked me for a favor. Somebody's just asked me for a thing. Somebody's just asked something of me. Maybe I should count to 10 first. Maybe I should, sure, let me think about that. I'll get back to you in a couple of hours.
Good advice.
So that you can, because I'll tell you right
Good
now,
advice.
the one thing that takers want from you is an immediate response. Because a giver, once they give the response, you're set. If I can make you promise me something, I know you're going to follow through. You're a giver. So if as a giver,
Hi,
if I say, I want this from you, you say, let me think. I have a couple of things to do, so let me think about that. I'll get back to you in a couple of hours. That right there reclaims a ton of power. And it seems odd. If you respond, you feed. And as a taker, if I can make you respond, I'm not a taker, but I've seen it in action. You know what I mean?
Totally a giver, yeah.
And I also come across as I come across as a very abrupt, demanding person if I'm like excited about something. So I can come across as a taker, which means that I don't think of myself as a taker, but I know that I've been perceived as one in the past. So I'm aware of, if I say blah 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 blah, but don't answer me right now. Take a couple hours to think about
Yeah,
it.
she does do that too.
I do that all the time because I'll be really excited and sound pushy, so I will be the one that suggests that you back off.
Yeah, Molly's
Anyway.
advice is perfect. And what I've learned is not to over-explain. If the answer is no,
Yep.
say no and leave it at that.
Yep.
Because as soon as we
But
explain,
give
the other
yourself-
person can break down your reasons why, and then you find yourself talked into something.
But if you are already, because your intuition is already telling you something. If I'm coming at you going, hey Simon, I want this, this is a really great idea. You should do this for me, and we can be, and you're already going, I feel a little uncomfortable. Then that's your cue right there. Your cue is not to say yes to shut them up. Your cue is to say, that sounds interesting. I'll get back to you with that. I'll get back to you on that. Give me a couple hours. I'm a little busy with other things. Your cue is to distract and delay so that the excitement can
Delay is your most powerful tool in your toolkit.
Distract and delay. Give yourself some breathing space so that you are not making a response just because that's what the other person wants from you, and that it's something that you really want.
Yelena, that's totally true.
Trust your instincts.
The other thing I want to point out is that a lot of time the takers, they don't come across like jerks. Takers in my experience, or energy vampires, or those kinds of people, you know how they come across? They come across broken and needy.
Hold on. Yeah.
And sad. And they come across as somebody who just really needs a good friend, somebody who's experienced a lot of pain. And here's the thing.
Oh, they're broken.
Hold on, wait, though, because I don't want you to actually take the wrong path here.
I'm sorry, you go ahead.
Takers are often not bad people. They haven't learned how to provide the energy to themselves. Sometimes people that are actually givers become takers because they've been abused for so long or taken advantage of for so long that now they're kind of like depleted, and they don't even realize how much they're pulling and taking from other people to try to bring themselves back up.
Why won't you help me?
Right.
It's like,
because
you're not helping yourself.
In my experience, takers come across like, and this is not malicious stuff, you guys. Takers are honestly people who've been fucked over oftentimes in their lives. They're people that are in a victim mentality. They're people who are waiting for somebody to save them. And here's the thing, givers love to save people. It's what we do.
Yes.
We love to save people. We love to show them that they're lovable and worthy and helpful.
I'm going to fix you by showing you how wonderful you are by tolerating all of your crap.
And I'll prove that people can be patient and kind. And this is where it's literally, you know how I say Peggy and I have functional dysfunction? This is where you get dysfunctional dysfunction. Like the really like where you're attracted. Yes, codependent. You're attracted to each other for all of the wrong reasons. You're filling each other's needs, but none of their needs. You know what I mean? Like you're ticking off all those boxes that make it feel really fulfilling. So understand that that's normal, natural, and this is not something to beat yourself up about. You're going to be attracted to people you can help, and they're going to be attracted to people that can help them.
Honestly, I'm a big fan of the instant you get uncomfortable. And I'm not a big fan of lying, so I mean this in a very specific type of way, but lie, bullshit. Oh, I have some errands.
Yes.
Well, I'm in a hurry
Sorry,
and I have
you did
some.
it, Jen.
You know, I'm in a hurry and I have some errands, but I'll get back to you in a couple hours. Even if you don't. I mean, and this is like I said, I'm not a fan of lying, but I am a fan of self-protection. But the minute your instincts tell you, I need to say yes just to get this person off my back, that is the time that is what
Love you, sister.
what's usually happening is that
You
your
got
instincts
this.
are telling you, get some space from this and think about it.
Yeah.
It's not that you. And here's the thing: if somebody is a taker, but you take the time to think about it before saying yes, they're not going to be so. What's the word? Like if I say, oh, let's do this, and I just expect that yes, and I'm they're not going to be so thoughtless and mindless. They're going to be a little more mindful. They're going to be a little bit more. They're going to be aware that they're, you know, it changes the energy.
Yeah.
But I'm a big fan of creating that space. Has somebody ever texted you and as soon as the message is, well, they can see that I've read it, I better respond now, and even though you know you should wait and think about it, wait and think